Hey, shalom, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, call halal Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushua, Ba'ashem Rekakwadash. Double honors, of course, go out to the apostles, bishops, and elders of Great Millstone who deserve double honors. Salutations also go out to the fellow Akim out there on the highways and byways pushing this truth. All right, for all honesty and sincerity, and trying to wake up the remaining, hopefully, like this is Nama of the DC camp. And lo and behold, here it is. Esau, the nation of Edom, Esau's descendants, the so-called white man of modern day, has turned his attention to Gad once again. That would be the so-called North American Indian. All right. So what they're trying to do now, let's just read it. This is from Newsweek. It says Montana Republican looks to change Indian reservation system. Now initially, you read this and you say, oh, well, maybe it'll be, for the better. All right, let's just continue to read. It says a Montana state lawmaker, all right, is running a resolution to investigate alternatives to the American Indian reservation system. As tribal governments around the country have begun to gain increased recognition of their sovereignty. And that coded way of saying things that they're so prone to do. Earlier this winter, Republican State Senator Keith Rigier introduced a resolution that, if adopted, would urge the Republican-controlled U.S. Congress to examine the more than century-old reservation system and eventually push previously sovereign tribes in the lands they control to assimilate. I knew it. Damn it, I knew it. With the United States. Wait a minute. All this time, well, it's going to get to it. Let's continue to read. The two-page resolution claims the Indian reservation system was created in a different time, here we go, and place, and under circumstances that no longer exist. Really? Establishing a race-based dichotomy between indigenous tribes and U.S. citizens that has led to rampant levels of drug abuse, alcoholism, domestic violence, welfare dependence, poverty, and substandard educational achievement. Isn't this like the so-called white man? To take everything from a nation, a people, and then belittle them. As it says here, now they're prone to all these things, but it was your actions that caused these things. So now you want to ride in on your white horse. Yeah, I've come to help. And every time it's something like this, I always go back to that movie Hannibal, where this disfigured pedophile played by, I believe it was Gary Oldman, and they filmed at the actual Vanderbilt mansion, the Vanderbilt family, who, what's his name? Anderson Cooper is, his family. And so he made the comment to, of course, this was Julianne Moore playing the role of former, what was her name? I can't, you have to excuse me, Jodie Foster's role as the FBI agent. And he tells her, he says, about the, when the hen calls for help and the fox comes a running, but not to help, And that's this so-called white man. He's the fox. He pretending to answer the call. Oh, these people, they need help. But he's not there to actually help. It says that dynamic, the resolution claims, has resulted in a lack of opportunity for their future well-being and happiness. We believe the investigation of alternative ways of approaching the reservation system can and will produce a new system that will enhance the lives, the happiness, and the opportunities for our Indian citizens. All right? still calling them savages. That's what it means. All right. While at the same time promoting peace, harmony, and stability for all. This fork-tongued motherfucker, boy, I tell you. This is, let me get the scripture. I gotta get the scripture now. Hold on. Oh my goodness. You got, whew. The day when this motherfucker goes into captivity, boy, oh boy, this is Sirach or Ecclesiasticus, chapter 13. This is started 3. It says, the rich man hath done wrong, and yet he threateneth withal. The poor is wronged, and he must entreat also. If thou be for his profit, he will use thee. But if thou have nothing, he will forsake thee. And that isn't that what he's done to everybody? Thinking back to Habakkuk 2nd chapter, that's his MO. That's his modus operandi. All right? This is how that motherfucker rolls. All right? And he's never changed, and he's never going to change. All right? This is why he has to be pulled down out of the power seat. All right? And he is. Oh, trust me, he is. 5. If thou have anything, he will live with thee. Yea, he will make thee bear, which he has done, and will not be sorry for it. What do you think all this talk against reparations is about? People he has fucked over for centuries, and you don't want to give them nothing. To include Gad. All the Western Hemisphere, the indigenous peoples of it, those are Israelites. And he brought the Southern Kingdom over here. But that's prophecy. And don't give one fuck, let alone 2 fucks about it. All right. 6. If he have need of thee, he will deceive thee and smile upon. In the whole history of this side of the world has been just that. Nothing but lies and deceit. And violence. Again, 6. If he have need of thee, he will deceive thee and smile upon thee, all with a smile, fucking you over, and put thee in hope. He will speak thee fair and say, what wantest thou? Why do you need Section 8? Why do you need welfare? Pull yourself up by your own bootstraps. Well, he done left you bare ass naked. Continuing on. It says, it's unlikely it will ever pass. However, the revolution, many were quick to note, was problematic for a number of reasons. While reservations do have a number of socio-economic problems, they vary little from issues facing the rest of rural Montana, a state which ranks in the bottom half of metrics like education outcomes, crime, and opportunity. It was also drafted by a non-native lawmaker. Who could have seen that? Wow. Who could have seen that? It was also drafted by a non-native lawmaker. A sign the intentions of the bill were not crafted in the best interest. You don't say. Was not crafted in the best interest of the communities it would impact the most. Isn't that the case with everything they do? When everybody gonna realize that this motherfucker has to go? But we already know the prophecies, Obadiah. It's not gonna go well for this man. And beautiful. James 2:13. He hath showed no mercy, shall receive none. All right. Point blank, period. That's, And for someone who, oh, we got to go with these Christians, who continually want to save this man, this people, these dogs. All right, it's King David, and even Yahweh Shai called him that. When he was on the cross, what did he say? Dogs encampers me about. Dogs. Though Regier is a Republican, many members of the Montana legislature, critics of the resolution, do not share his views. That's good. Several members of the legislature's Indian caucus belong to the GOP. Regier, however, I guess I'm saying his name right, whatever, hails from Kalispell, a community bordering Glacial National Park, a short distance from the Blackfeet Indian Reservation, a place that some say attracted new scrutiny from the region's white population for public health measures its government enacted amid the, the scam. It says tribal leaders took the scam a lot more serious. It says they shut down their tribes longer. They wore masks longer. All right. It says when you're out in public, you're more likely to actually see natives wear masks versus anyone else. Why? Because that's Jake. That's Jake in general. You see it here with the Northern Kingdom. So, all this BS about certain people, they don't want to. I mean, after you've been lied to so long, and then if you're paying any attention, and you do, this is like 9th grade health class shit. All right, and you find out this is some bogus shit. It says it's just like part of the community. You're protecting your elders. I don't know if that just became like another other. That could have been a contributing factor. All right. There have been visible examples of this trend, lawmakers note. In December, the Montana Free Press reported a Republican State House staffer with political aspirations suggested indigenous people living on reservations should not be allowed to vote during a meeting of the Lewis and Clark County Republican Central Committee. Others have run legislation seeking to restrict the indigenous population from water and hunting rights established under treaties dating back to the days of the United States westward expansion into native land. See these dirty motherfuckers, man. In other words, you're going to cut them off again. You already took the best lands that people could support themselves with and left them, like I say, on these reservations. Where that's what it was all about. All right, so again, why do you still love this, so-called white man? He's the devil, meaning liar and deceiver. You are not to trust him. If you do, hey, it's at your own risk. It says, oftentimes critics say those actions are not denounced, leaving Native members of the legislature on their own to speak out. Meanwhile, tensions have risen between indigenous tribes and governments across the western U.S. over several landmark federal lands cases in Glacier National Park and the Bighorn National Forest in Wyoming, where tribal members have fought hunting regulations they say infringe on their rights as a sovereign people. All right, which you are not, because you're still depending on, wow, you're still depending on the enemy to give you so-called rights. All right, which are nothing but privileges. It says, the resolution specifically claims previous judicial decisions relative to the reservation system have produced confusion, acrimony, and animosity among the general population in the past and at present, and will undoubtedly continue to do so in the foreseeable future. Sure. All right, because you're being ruled over by your enemy, by someone who hates you, who hates us. So there's always going to be animosity. It's supposed to. You're not supposed to love this motherfucker. The animosity comes, and all the stress and all that is caused by you trying to do something that's not natural, and that's love this piece of shit. It says people are just more emboldened you're seeing it more. Like, people feel they have permission to actually be able to say and do these things. And when Senator Regier does something like this, there are no political consequences. The resolution's critics say language like that only seeks to exacerbate that tension. Of course. See, these devils play this game. They know when and how to push your buttons. All right? They do this for their own sick entertainment. All right? It says the resolution's critics say language like that only seeks to exacerbate that tension while erasing the legacy of genocide perpetuated generations earlier. But it also serves as a distraction for members who are seeking to preserve their culture through legislation, encouraging efforts to improve knowledge of indigenous languages and heritage, or to direct resources to tribes in an effort to counter the socio-economic issues that exist there. This is intended to be hurtful. Duh. Shane Marigal, a Montana state senator and a member of the Confederated Salish and Kootenai tribes of the Flathead Nation, told Newsweek, the reservations are systems. They were formed as a negotiated agreement where oftentimes, tribes really had no choice. Reservation areas exist because Indian people gave up a lot of territory and lands they lived on for thousands of years so that homesteaders and business developers could come in and make money off of them. Yeah, just code for, they took your shit, and that's something they're going to have to pay for, and they will. Let's go to, because a lot of this too, you got to remember, he's doing this trying to make himself feel good. He don't give a fuck about us. This is Job 20. Zophar speaks, the wicked, who are the wicked? The nation of Edom, descendants of Jacob's brother Esau. They are the so-called white people today. It says, knowest thou not this of old, verse 4, since man was placed on earth, that the triumphing of the wicked is short and the joy of the hypocrite but for a moment. Yeah. See, he's not so joyous now, because you have to be a complete idiot not to realize that, if you're so-called white, that your shit is falling apart. It says, though his excellency mount up to the heavens and his head reacheth unto the clouds, yet he shall perish forever like his own dung. They which have seen him shall say, where is he? Because all this shit is going to be, ain't none of these monuments that you built to yourself, none of this shit going to be here. All right. He shall fly away as a dream and shall not be found. Yea, he shall be chased away as a vision of the night. The eye also which saw him shall see him no more. Neither shall his place any more behold him. His children shall seek to please the poor. And a lot of that is happening now. And his hands shall restore their goods. His bones are full of the sin of his youth. All this shit he did. We're talking on this side of the world. We're talking about since 1492. And a little bit before, 1492. Let's just put that mark there. All right, with the Catholic Church and their decrees, their edicts. All right, ever since then, this whole time period has been what? I mark it at the beginning of around 1860, around on the eve of the Civil War. From that 1492 up until that period, it had been just a massive transference of wealth from our peoples to these dogs. All right. It says, his bones are full of the sin of his youth, which shall lie down with him in the dust. Though wickedness be sweet in his mouth, though he hide it under his tongue, though he spare it and forsake it not, but keep it still within his mouth. We keep telling you this devil's not going to change. He never will. It's not in him. He is the wicked. Malachi 1st chapter, verses 1 through 4. 14, yet his meat in his bowels is turned. It is the gall of asp within him, poison. He hath swallowed down riches, and he shall vomit them up again. Vomiting is a violent act. For those of you that have done it, you should know. The Most High shall cast them out of his belly. So that's going to be a point. But none of this is going to be his no more. He shall suck the poison of asp, the viper's tongue shall slay him. He shall not see the rivers, the floods, the brooks of honey and butter. That which he labored for shall he restore, and shall not swallow it down. According to his substance shall the restitution be, and he shall not rejoice therein. Yeah, he's full of pride now. But there's coming a time. In other words, this is as good as it gets. 19, because he hath oppressed and hath forsaken the poor or what? The Israelites. Because he hath violently taken away an house which he builded not. In this case, we're talking about Gad. All right, this was gas. This is not, as it says about. Let me get it real quick. Let me use this other one here. Let's see. Let's go to, if I can remember. Let's see. Is it 19? Hold on. Yeah. This is in the law. It says, Deuteronomy 19 and 14, it says, thou shalt not remove thy neighbor's landmark, which they of old time have set in thy inheritance. In the same chapter, 32 and 8, it says, hold on, I'll get it, hold on. Which thou shalt inherit in the land that the Most High Yahweh, thy power, is talking to Israel now, giveth thee to possess it. All right, now let's go to where I had Deuteronomy again. Let's see, 32. Because this is what happened. 32 and 8, Deuteronomy, it says, when the Most High divided the nations, their inheritance, when he separated the sons of Adam, he set the bounds of the people according to the number of the children of Israel. So these lands were allocated to different people. That's why in several scriptures in the Bible where it talked about when Israel was on the move, he told them, no, don't disturb these people. Moab, don't disturb Edom. No. But at the same time, all right, they refused us, help during our journey. But we were not supposed to take their stuff, but look what Edom has done. All right, because Most High told him, said, this is theirs. This is what I gave them, But at the end of the day, yeah, we're going to possess all that shit. Why? Because by his actions, really, he gave us license to do so. All right. This is all set up from long, long ago. All right. Let's see. Make money off of them. It's always for profit with this devil. And there's a saying about, when it make you laugh, it's going to make you cry, I can think of no better way. Scripture's talking about, whether Jeremiah 49 and 10, he's going to make Esau bear. That's more than one implication there. So, yeah, he's going to lose everything. The lands that were left continuing on, the lands that were left to live on, he added, were guaranteed to be a place for us to make our homeland in perpetuity, to have the resources, to have water and wildlife for us to be able to sustain our souls and our people forever. That's another thing. The devil doesn't want that. He wants you, and that's part of the curses on our people, and Gad is our people. Deuteronomy 28 and 48. We have to go to this motherfucker, paraphrasing that. We have to go to him for all things, for want of all things, and nakedness and hunger. That's the way it's set up. He wants you to be dependent on him. And even more so for what's coming in the future. This is all being set up to whereas you're going to have to choose. Who do you put your trust in? Who is your God? Is it going to be the so-called white man? Because he's going to try to make us, it's we talk about Genesis 25th chapter and his birthright that he gave up. All right, he's going to use that strategy. Hunger is a great motivator. He lost his birthright because of that. All right. He sold it. All right. Any attempt to renege on that, he said, only continues the legacy of Americans' erasure of native culture, whether via boarding schools for indigenous children or acts of violence. Symbolically, it's a significant step back for a state that recently set a record for the number of indigenous people serving in office. Whatever. The U.S. Congress now has 5 Native American members, while Deb Haaland, who is not even Native American, if you look at her bio, her father is from Sweden, somewhere up there in the highlands. All right. So no, your nationality is determined by your father. All right. So that's one. I haven't researched the rest of them because they made such a big hoopla with her. I couldn't help it. So, and her name Holland, that's like Dutch or some shit like that. That's not, Anyway, so they're saying they got all these names, but let's go back to the scriptures. And what does it say? Verse 20, surely he shall not feel quietness in his belly. He shall not save of that which he desired. There shall none of his meat be left. Therefore shall no man look for his goods. And here's the point. 22, in the fullness of his sufficiency, he shall be in dire straits. Every hand of the wicked shall come upon him. And that wicked there is not talking about, the evil ones, no, it's talking about your plain old everyday working citizen. All right. It says 23, when he is about to fill his belly, the Most High shall cast the fury of his wrath upon him. He shall rain it upon him while he is eating. I always like to picture, you got these elites sitting around this huge table. You got the extravagant chandeliers. You got all the best of the cutlery and, your plates, however elaborate, the finest china, all that stuff, the crystal and all that. And then all of a sudden the doors get kicked in. That's the way I picture it. Anyway, it says, whether he is about to fill his belly, the Most High shall cast the fury of his wrath upon him and shall rain it upon him while he is eating. He shall flee from the iron weapon, which he is trying to do. He's got all kinds of bunkers, and I heard some other company is, they're like back ordered with building of these underground bunkers for people. So they have a sense, unlike Jake out here, of what's coming down. All right, but even more so, again, going to scriptures, time of Jacob's trouble. All right, he shall flee from the iron weapon, and the bow of steel shall strike him through. It is drawn and cometh out of the body. Yea, the glittering sword cometh out of his gall. Terrors are upon him, meaning those nuclear missiles. All right. So, yeah, that's it on that. I could go into 21, but for time's sake, I'm not. You can read Job 21st chapter if you like for yourself. But let's go back to Sirach, because this is, and more people are waking up to this devil. I got to give them that. But, there are those that are never just going to get it. All right. This is Sirach 12 and 10, and this is my advice if you ever view this video. Never trust thine enemy. Who has always been your enemy? Common sense should be. All right. For like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness, though he humble himself and go crouching, and that's to make himself seem harmless like they're prone to do. This devil has some tricks, boy. And he can switch up and seem like he's the nicest guy, but don't fall for it. That's what these scriptures are saying. Yet take good heed and beware of him, and thou shalt be unto him as if thou hadst wiped a looking glass, and thou shalt know that his rust hath not been altogether wiped away. See? Again, like I said, he is never going to change. He was not created to be a good guy. 12, set him not by thee, lest when he hath overthrown thee, like he did with Gad, he stand up in thy place. Neither let him sit at thy right hand, lest he seek to take thy seat. The $5 Indian, the dogs roll, the dogs act. I said it in opposite order. And thou at the last remember my words and be pricked therewith. Who will pity a charmer that is bitten with a serpent, or any such as come nigh wild beasts? You've been warned. You continue to mess with this man, all right, to let him in amongst you, continuing to make empty promises, all right, and you keep falling for it. After you've been warned, don't deal with this motherfucker anymore if you don't have to. All right, I have to put that out there. All right, because like I said, one of the curses. All right, we're still, you know, under subjection under this piece of crap. But to the best that you can, if you don't have to deal with him, don't. You know by now that, like I said, he just makes empty promises. Nah, don't do it. You know. Hey, so with that, again, going back to this article, yeah, Esau trying again to screw over Gad. You know, up to his usual, if not the same tricks. Let's hear this devil speak before I wrap it up. Again, empty. Let's see if I can roll this back because that started kind of a, oh crap. Nah, never mind. So it went away. I'd have to go through all that crap again. But anyway, yeah. I'll put, of course, the link to that article. You can read it for yourself. But yeah, he keeps trying, and the good thing about it, people are waking up, like I said. So, like I said, this devil, he knows that his kingdom is going down. And like Revelation 12:12 say, he knows he have a short time, but hey, woe to the inhabitants of the earth, you know, because he's about to get busy, because he sensed this is the end. All right, no one's buying his bullshit anymore, and people actually don't want this motherfucker around them, and for good reason. Hey, so until the next video, I hope whoever views this is edified. Of course, is what we do here at Great Millstone. Filter everything through the scriptures and let you know what time it is. And now that I said that, time is short. So now can't keep straddling that fence. All right. You got to, you know, put everything to practice. All right. Hey, so with that, hey, shalom.